and the orb fell through other hands, until it came to the Luthier. They hated us then, and they hate us right now. They wouldn't accept us there, nor do they welcome us here. They drove us from the city, now they want us out of town. But it's come the time to take our place and finally make a stand. When I was so much younger, I wondered innocent thoughts. Was it our voice? Was it our skin? Was it our clothes? Or was it our creed? But age has taught me they will always find one reason or another to make a scapegoat of our kind. My breath catches a crisp wisp of smoke that musters my nose as it flicks through the air, and my mind begins to ripple to the crackle of flame. Weightless I float, transported in time, back to a boy strumming his father's fourth, no fifth, favourite guitar. My yet as untaught fingers trying to find their own tune and tonality, but I can only nurdle out dull, discordant notes that make me fret in frustration as I try to tame those wild strings over and over again. I'm halted mid-strut. My father holds up his hand for still silence as he tries to find the perfect pitch of the lute he's repairing. His bead-braided hair flicks slow as he stoops in close to the instrument's throat. The rings flash in his lobes from the candlelit glow, and at the touch of his sun-coppered fingers, the tuning ears creak as pitch raises to pitch. Then comes the pivotal, critical moment. I can sense the turning inside, and my tendons stand taut, straining for the full note to meld into sound. But before its fulfillment, another noise shatters our world, a splintering of glass. Shards rain over harps, projectiles puncture a violin's heart, emitting pain's frail tremolo. The shouting outside forces its way through the half-fractured panes, till it seems that the outside is in, and all its chanting, its insults and roars, come sucked in sharp with the air. Something bright hot flares its way into the room, flicking its flames onto all that it finds, and dancing to the heat twang of strings. Then there are screams from within, and I'm snatched back from the blaze, carried out still clutching that fourth, no fifth favourite guitar, and all the time watching, eyes unblinking, my father, as he grabs at his musical offspring, wrapping his arms wide around all he can grasp, agonizing over which ones to save. Long gathered of disparate regions and age, the lyrical kin of lute, lyre, violin, their wooden bodies quavering as they're clefting close to where they'll be safe. He clings hold while the sparks fly high, and the room is pierced by a tumult of cries. Their senses become seared, a pyrographical scene on my soul. But once again this memory whisked gently away. This is not then, and this is not there. Today's ghost-conjuring smoke is just the pitch pine from the boat-maker's tar, a black acrid scent, but of no malicious odour, no ill intent. Round the corner, a fish-hawker shouts out his catch. Mussels, mackerel, and sprat. Those silver, slithered bodies gut the air with their slimy sea stench, leaving me hooked to their marble-bright stares and gagging down the impulse to retch. He knows I won't eat anything that once thrived in the flesh, but he nods all the same, and I touch my hat in return, a simple gesticulatory act that bridges our cultural divides. Once clear, I exhale all that fish-tarry breath from my lungs and gulp in a mouthful of salt fresh sea air. The breeze is now clean and the coast is now clear, tang with the tempt and the tease of escape. But to my relief, I see that my workshop door is still blank. There's no hateful slurs scrawled across the front wall, no window smashed and all locks intact. Maybe it's just the heat of this soporific September that keeps the tormentors inside. Secure, I can start on my latest commission. Eyes shut, I reach for the wood on the shelf, my full sensing fingers exploring spruce, walnut, cedar, and pine. It takes just a tap to unloose their sounds. Then from the heartwood the tonewood resounds. I hear the rise and the fall of their pitch, from shallow to full, from mellow to sharp, with a resonance rushing in like a distant dark sea. I feel it and flex it, acting out the strumming, the plucking, perceiving the bass, the middle and upper, the language of wood song in sonorous notes, replete with its timbre sweet tongue. Once chosen, the lute wood is fastened with pegs and with wedge, and I measure the lines, steady-handed with compass and scribe, then moulding the base until the spruce is pared sparse, and I can feel its spring and its bend. And I fire up the iron and shape up the ribs, scraping out the belly till its harmonic-bound skin is tendon tight and candlelight thin. I score out the neck and plane it to fit, split it and trim it, fit the applewood bridge, picking the position for each tuning peg, filing and polishing all of the frets, tampering and tempering till it takes its first breath. I've lost myself into this harmonious task, but that familiar crisp crinkle of smoke snaps me back into the now, and I see my father's fourth, no fifth, favourite guitar beginning to flare, and frantic to save I try to grasp its fired form, but the heat is too much and I have to let go. The pinging of strings, its inner body exposed, birthing a bright golden orb rolling across the tiled floor. There it pulses, its glow sustained, an embryonic fallen sun. Compelled, a child coaxed to the flame, I reach out, naked hands set fast, braced for the onset scorch of pain. Yet cool this orb is to the touch, and smooth it slips into my skin, then as it winks into a spin, clarity floods me from within, like the numb of winter water. It fills my mind with fleeting forms of generations long past, memories of tools and crafts, and those whose work was functional and fair, all told to me in an instant, but, unlike a dream, I know that they'll be safely held for all the time that's left to be. In a glimpse of a time that I don't understand, a stark-walled room where someone clothed in white gown listens to speeches in multiple tongues which flash into words in a language they know. I clasp close the orb and peer round the room, yet there seems to be no smoking source, no smash and no shards to account for these flames. But then comes the feared hollers and shouts, and my instinct fires feet ready to run. Yet this orb strangely calls me to slow. So as their fists finally force open the door, passive I wait for their insults and the impact of blows. And if this stand is to be my last, at least my crafted instruments will still sound out their harmonies, filling lovers' ceremonies fast and free with joyful steps, then soothing low the tempo set for all their children's lullabies. And when lives let go, they'll mark the tone of sorrowful celebration. A hand roughly yanks me out of the way, and I submit to be taken to where I must go. From there I gaze, as a relay of water and sand delivers the extinguishing blow. Through the fizzling haze I now can make out my copper candlestick fallen, gilt hot, my own incendiary that scorched this workshop. Humbly I look round at this crowd, these neighbours, these friends. They nod back at me, smiling, their buckets in hand.